Yo, what to do, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. This reaction I'm actually very excited for because this reaction is by Super Horror Bro. And let's dive into the lore of Fnaf Juniors, a game I know I still have to play. I'm gonna play it, but let's hop in.
Hey guys, Super Horror Bro Mike here, and in today's video we explore haunted animatronic halls as we take a look at the story of Five Nights at Freddy's fan game, Juniors, with a walkthrough of the main story, a theory as to what the cryptic ending is all about, and a look at the various animatronics and their design.
I just gotta say, bro, these animatronics look wild, but Foxy is still that guy, bro.
This is the story of Fnaf Juniors Explained, so sit back, relax, and let's get started.
Okay, what did I say? Paul Bear and the Ghost.
The setup for Junior's story isn't made crystal clear in the game, but it is nicely summarised on the game's download page over on the website GameJolt. Here it is suggested that we are filling the shoes of an investigator who is sent.
Okay, he didn't read it. Okay, I'm sorry, but it's gotten to a point where these slip-ups have become too frequent for us to ignore. We're going to need to close the Juniors restaurant down, at least temporarily, to launch a proper investigation. We know there's something going on here, and if you care about this place, you'll let us take a look. I know you'll understand. After agreeing to take part in the ongoing Juniors investigation, you are greeted by a passive spirit named Paul Bear, a helper on your journey to flesh out the evil that hides within the creepy old animatronic suits. However, that evil wants something other than your life. It wants Paul Bear. Okay, so basically we're an investigator that's coming here. Okay.
GameJolt. Here it is suggested that we are filling the shoes of an investigator who is sent to Junior's restaurant after a series of slip-ups occurred, leading to its closure. The investigation company feels that something is afoot, and it's up to our unfortunate hero to uncover what that something is. Suffice to say, they probably didn't think they'd be dealing with haunted killer animatronics. While sleeping, the investigator, who for now I will simply refer to as the protagonist, finds himself in a dark limbo-like dimension. He quickly begins to panic, believing himself to be dead. At that moment, a small white bear emerges from the darkness and introduces himself. This is Paul Bear, and he is a passive spirit who has taken refuge in this dark place, a place he refers to as the Barrens. The Barrens are a limbo dimension between life and death. A giant brain hangs in the sky above, suggesting the Barrens are connected directly with our character's subconscious after they entered JR's to begin their investigation. There are familiar sights to be found here: Freddy, Bonnie and Chica cutouts, and the puppet emerging from a prize box. We also see a mysterious arcade cabinet, though for now it is out of order. Paul Bear assures the protagonist that he can send him back to the real world whenever he wants, but asks for some help with some unfinished business in return. Paul Bear is unable to complete this task himself as he is dead. By taking care of this unfinished business, he will be able to move over to the afterlife. Paul Bear even offers to help out in our investigation, and so a partnership begins, the protagonist agreeing to meet Paul Bear once more the following night.
Let's just be real. You gotta, if you like had a dream like this, you probably not going back to sleep, bro. Like you're not gonna go back to sleep the next night. You're gonna like get some coffee, stay up, and be like, nah, I'm not going back. Like, I don't know.
And so the investigation at Juniors commences, with our protagonist monitoring paranormal activity at the restaurant over a security camera feed from the relative safety of the maintenance room. Paul Bear operates as a ghost in the machine, able to send us messages through our laptop, which provides survival tips as a ghostly figure moves from one animatronic to the next. This ghost girl is never named, and so it is impossible to know for sure her true identity.
Don't let it be Cassidy.
It seems her presence in the restaurant is the unfinished business Paul Bear was talking about, and the reason why Juniors closed down to begin with. He tells us he has been hiding from this ghost, who will take his soul if she locates him. And so, a mission to exorcise this malicious spirit commences.
Okay, go, son.
Each night, the player must identify which of Junior's animatronics are haunted as the ghost moves from one to the next. The way we identify a haunting is by paying close attention to our camera feed and watching for telltale signs. For example, if an animatronic enters a room and the lights begin to flicker, or a human handprint appears on the camera lens, then we know the ghost is present. However, the ghost has a few tricks up her sleeve. One of these is to inhabit the marionette, who does not appear on cameras but instead can be heard by her music box when we turn on the audio function. Likewise, the ghost can haunt Balloon Baby, who only appears as a glitching icon on our laptop screen. This laptop screen shows the stability of the animatronics, and when this percentage drops to 0, it results in a game over and very bad news for our hapless hero.
Oh! That jump scare got me, I'm not gonna lie.
To avoid a sticky end, we must periodically call non-haunted animatronics down the conveyor belt to the maintenance room and then repair them by installing a—
Wait, so here's my thing. So animatronics that aren't haunted, like they're not like possessed at all, are still possessed because they're still trying to kill you, regardless of the ghost being there. So it's like the same concept still. Like they're possessed, but they're not like evilly possessed. I done confused myself, bro. I know I'm right, but I'm wrong, but I'm right still, so it don't matter.
A fresh battery pack. If we guess the incorrect animatronic when trying to locate the ghost, then the values of these stability percentages drop across the board, so correctly picking who the spirit haunts is super important.
The animatronics explained. Okay, let's get some of this.
Now let's take a quick look at each of the animatronics encountered during the first 5 nights of our investigation. Fnaf Juniors has a menu page accessible after completing the game with detailed character descriptions for each of the terrifying designs. These read as follows. Freddy. This iteration of Freddy is much taller and lankier than most. He's rocking his iconic top hat and bow tie, but both are outfitted with a plaid material. Bonnie. Similar to Freddy, this iteration of Bonnie is much lankier than most other designs. He's been given a pair of stylish glasses and his colour has shifted from a dark indigo to a tealish shade of blue. Chica. This iteration of Chica is not themed around food, but rather sleeping. She dons a nightgown, a sleeping cap, and her cupcake has a binky. How adorable. This pirate-themed iteration of Foxy is withered to maintain that iconic look that everyone loves. We wanted to push that theme a little further with the inclusion of lots and lots of piercings. Balloon Baby. This iteration of Balloon Boy isn't a boy at all, he's actually a baby, hence the name. In an attempt to capture that eerie vibe, his face was made more doll-like. As always, he's holding his balloons and wearing the iconic propeller hat. The Marionette. With her lengthy, spindly body, this iteration of a marionette or puppet is more ragdoll-like. She's also been given a nose and a set of ears.
Look at this. Look at it. What is this?
To add to that creepy doll look that made her so iconic in Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Nasty looking. The mysterious VHS tapes.
The further into Juniors we progress, the more of its mysterious backstory is revealed. We get some of these reveals delivered through a series of old VHS tapes, which our protagonist uncovers after completing certain shifts. The first tape is labelled Episode 1. On this tape is a claymation animation. It shows Freddy walking up to a door labelled Beware the Mangle. Freddy holds an animatronic arm in his hands, which he then presents to a shadowy figure as it emerges from the room. The second VHS tape is labelled Episode 2. This time, Bonnie and Freddy sit at a table in the pizzeria. Freddy pieces together a drawing of Mangle, as if assembling it. Mangle then seems to speak to Freddy and influence him. We then see the ghost inhabiting Freddy transfer over to Bonnie. After this transfer completes, it is Bonnie who now delivers an animatronic appendage to the Mangle's door. The tape ends with a photograph of Bonnie and Freddy laughing together, this suggesting they are both now under the Mangle's control. The third tape is labelled "I know you are with him", this telling us that the ghost girl is aware of the protagonist and his partnership with Paul Bear. On this tape we see footage of Chica sound asleep and dreaming of pizza. Bonnie ominously peers over the foot of her bed, and Chica's dreams alter as the ghost transfers into her body. Chica then completes the Mangle's construction by bringing it to the final endo piece.
Okay.
Now before viewing the final tape, we should take a moment to catch up on the story unfolding between the protagonist and his new acquaintance Paul Bear. After relaying the information found on these tapes, Paul Bear deduces that the Mangle is a new body the ghost is trying to build for herself. This body will allow her to become far more powerful and therefore harder to stop. With the protagonist getting ready to finish his investigation, time is of the essence. The duo must stop the ghost before the Mangle finishes construction. To do this, they decide to take the ghost by surprise by sneaking into her lair located
I don't even got nothing to say, I just wanted to pause.
in the restaurant's basement. This brings us to the fourth and final VHS tape. This one is labelled "Falling Down".
Right.
Its footage is symbolic, showing us children's drawings of various animatronics at Junior's as they are tainted by a black goop. Some of these drawings are bloodied, suggesting that much like the other Fazbear establishments, murderous activity went down at Junior's. We then witness the three iconic animatronics, Bonnie, Chica and Freddy, standing with their offerings as the Mangle descends from above. These tapes symbolise how the Mangle takes pieces from each of the animatronics under the control of the ghost, leaving them in a withered state.
Wow, Chica got messed up.
Paul Bear knows of the
Mangle and the withered animatronics.
And so our protagonist takes it into the heart of darkness for a final showdown with the Ghost Girl. Longtime FNAF fans will recognise this setting and the gameplay mechanics. They are lifted from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. This telling us the location of Junior's is the same location as FNAF 2, and therefore also the same location as the original restaurant, Fredbear's Family Diner. Important points to keep in mind as we move into the theory portion of this video. In this basement we encounter the withered animatronics, their parts used to create the Mangle midway through this night. As with FNAF 2, when these animatronics show up, we must hide behind the Bonnie mask. Balloon Baby can also disable our flashlight if we—
Bro on the screen, like he is shaking hard. Why he standing at the desk like that?
don't keep an eye on him, and this flashlight is needed to keep Foxy at bay as he appears down the hallway. Finally, the music box must be wound to avoid a nasty jump scare, courtesy of the puppet. After these animatronics have merged with the Mangle, she takes over the fight during Phase 2, in combination with the Ghost, who appears on various camera feeds in an attempt to break the cameras and our light. Mangle is able to look into the room using her owl tail, so we must hide behind the Bonnie mask whenever this occurs. If Mangle shows up down the hallway, she must be flashed just as with Foxy. To dispel the Ghost, we must shine the camera light on her until she vanishes. These mechanics sound simple enough, but this is a tough fight and balancing power is tricky. Before we head into the final section of this video and break down the ending of FNAF Juniors, let's take a quick look at each of the withered animatronics as described in game. Withered Freddy. During the final act of Juniors, Freddy was torn to shreds, leaving him with only one eye and a massive scar down his right eye. Withered Bonnie. Bonnie's face was torn off by Mangle and used as a mask by the player. Withered Bonnie shares almost identical features to his design in FNAF 2. Withered Chica. Chica's jaw has been torn apart and ripped open much like her design in FNAF 2. She probably got the most damage out of the entire cast. Poor Chica. Withered Foxy. In Junior's final act, Foxy takes quite the beating. His left ear is completely torn off. However, he was already pretty withered to begin with. Withered Balloon Baby. Much like Marinette, Balloon Baby's porcelain head is completely shattered during Junior's final act. The cracks on his face reveal a creepy endoskeleton beneath. Withered Marinette.
Look at this. Dang, bro. It looked bad before, now it just looks worse. Bro didn't take no damage, he just took a beating, like, to his... Where's your pride at? Like, how do you look? Who made that? Why would they design it like that? Who would come to that? Like, kids would be traumatized to come see.
Junior's final act, the Marinette is completely shattered by Mangle, revealing her horrifying visage. The Mangle. The Mangle is absolutely giant. Over time, the ghost haunting Junior's building built it as her final form, using different pieces of animatronic endoskeletons to create this monstrosity. During the final act, all the withered animatronics hop on a conveyor system, sacrificing themselves to finish the Mangle.
The ending explained.
After reaching 6 AM and outlasting the ghost's attempts to merge with Mangle, she instead tries to merge with the protagonist, forcing her way inside his mind to gain access to the Barons and track down Pallbear. The ghost girl begins to strangle Pallbear, telling him there is no more hiding beneath the costume anymore. This tells us that Pallbear is another young child, so who could he be? Well, we are given a few clues as to the identity of this child as we journey through the game. In an earlier cutscene, Pallbear mentions how he is very lonely, and only the other spirits keep him company. We also know that Pallbear is of timid demeanour, asking the protagonist for help as he is too scared to face the animatronics and Ghost Girl himself. These traits line up perfectly with a very familiar Five Nights at Freddy's character.
Are you telling me that if I was right, because I said that the ghost girl had to be Cassidy, I might be right. Hold on, we're going to see.
The Crying Child, commonly believed to be Evan Afton. The Crying Child died at the original Fazbear location, Fredbear's Family Diner, after being stuffed inside Freddy's animatronic mouth by his brother Michael. A prank that went very wrong. After passing away, Crying Child ended up with only the other spirits for company. It all lines up. Even the name Pallbear is a play on the word pallbearer, a person who carries a coffin at a funeral. So if Pallbear is Crying Child, then who is the Ghost Girl? Well, this is a little harder to pin down. It seems most likely that she is meant to be Cassidy. This is because Cassidy was the most vicious of all the child victims, and would have had a reason to come after Crying Child as he was the son of her murderer, William Afton, the man who robbed her of her life.
I was right.
The ghost tells Pallbear she will destroy him and then his little puppet, but before the conversation concludes, she is stabbed in the back by the protagonist. At this point, the story abruptly ends and the following text plays out. After 5 years, JR's would later reopen. It would go over heavy rebranding as some still had a somewhat negative impression of the company. Fazbear Entertainment is now more committed than ever to family fun and above all, safety. They spent a small fortune on these new animatronics. Anyway, Jeremy, when do you think you can start? This text seems to be coming from a manager at the newly refurbished Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. New animatronics are mentioned, these referencing the friendly redesigned toy animatronics from Fnaf 2.
Oh.
Essentially, this dialogue is a setup for the second game in the Fnaf franchise, and the conversation had between management and new employee Jeremy Fitzgerald, the central protagonist of that game. This entire time, Juniors has been the prequel story to Fnaf 2, bridging the gap between the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 4, where Crying Child's demise took place, the murders of William Afton, which led to the birth of vengeful spirit Cassidy, and finally the reopening of a restaurant whereby Jeremy accepted his position of night guard. Juniors explains the state of the withered animatronics, the true origin of the Mangle, and tells the prequel story many have asked series creator Scott Cawthon for. It's certainly an interesting take on the lore, and a fantastic fan game to boot. The only question remaining is, were we playing as Jeremy the entire time? Was Jeremy the unnamed protagonist, now returning to take a job as a night guard to keep Cassidy in check and prevent disaster from striking once again? I'll leave you to come to your own conclusions on that one. One final secret you discover comes when we return to the main menu and click continue. We now unlock free roam mode, whereby we can explore the barrens and collect up 4 floating prize boxes. These unlock a cryptic looking map on the title screen made up from 4 torn pages. They appear to mark out a level layout. Head back into the barrens and we can finally access that previously out of order arcade cabinet and play the Bonnie themed minigame Carrot Craze. Using the map, we can locate an area within this level that unlocks a secret message from Paul Bear. The message reads, "Hey buddy, it's me, Paul Bear. If you ever need me for an investigation or whatever, just call me. See you soon." This message suggests that Paul Bear's fate was a happy one, and by extension the child spirit within that suit ended up escaping the ghost, ready to be called upon should ever the occasion arise. And with that, we come to the end of this look at the story and animatronics of FNAF Juniors Explained. I hope you found this video both entertaining and informative, and if you did, remember to leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for more horror related content.
You heard him.
Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.
You heard the man. Bro, Super Horror Bro, every time I watch a video by Super Horror Bro, it's just so interesting. Like, he does not miss at all, bro. I hope you enjoyed this video. The original link will be in the description. Make sure to drop a like. If you're new, subscribe. If you want to see more of these videos or just any horror game in general, this is the channel to be at. And with enough being said, I'm trying to finish this outro, bro. I can't. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.